Today is the 14th of July, which is Bastille Day in France, and it also means it's 3 months since I got here. So in this video I'm going to talk a bit about how I'm finding it now after 3 months, and I'm also going to talk about what my plans are, because I'm actually heading back to the UK in a few days time. So someone's just walking past the van, caught my attention. So yeah, I haven't kind of prepared this. I'm just gonna chat off the cuff. I remember the last time I did a video like this was after 1 month, and it is different now after 3. I mean, some things have certainly changed. I mean, I'm certainly used to it. A lot of the learning curves, like learning to drive the vehicle, learning how to use all the various bits and pieces, you know, sorting out the gas, the fridge, you know, I know how to do this now. So, you know, I know what chores there are. Sorry, get distracted. Yeah, so that kind of stuff is all fine. And at the beginning I had a lot of problems, and I feel like they're mostly resolved now, although I've got a new one. I've got a problem in my waste tank, but I've kind of managed to sort of work around most of the issues. I'm having the issue of the waste tank fixed next week. I'm driving back to the UK, decided, because I want to get some things done. So yeah, I feel like I know what I'm doing now. I'm not scared of like the driving in the on the hills and the hairpin bends and stuff like that anymore. But I'm still having some issues with how to live like this. One thing I find has been bothering me more recently, during the summer in particular, is not really feeling fully clean with the kind of shower situation. My hot tap broke in the bathroom, but that's not a huge problem because it's been so hot that a cold shower would be fine. But it's having a real shower, like the type you put up and it, you know, water is going freely, uses up so much water. It uses up a massive chunk of my tank that I very rarely do that. So I tend to have kind of a wash in a sink, and I trying to wash my hair in a sink it's an absolute nightmare. It's, you know, a pain. And I've heard people saying on like other YouTube videos that you can be perfectly clean in half a cup of water and a wet wipe, you know? And that, for me, that doesn't cut it. So that's something I've missed, is proper showers, you know. I mean, if I'm just like sitting in the van all day, it's not too bad, but where it's been really hot, you know, you get hot and sweaty, and when I go into the beach, you know, I get covered in sand and salt and I need a shower. And like hiking, you know, go out hiking and you get all hot and sweaty when you're hiking for hours, you need a shower. So that is something that's I'm kind of struggling with, because I haven't really found a way around it, because it's just not easy to have a shower on the motorhome. And although there are, you know, places, a lot of the areas I go to I can fill up with water, it takes a long time, and it's just a bit of a pain in the butt, really. So some of the times I feel a bit kind of icky. And in a kind of a similar vein, the laundry seems to be a persistent problem. I'm re-wearing the same clothes a lot, and again, where it's hot, sticky and sweaty, just feel icky a lot of the time. So the summer I've kind of struggled with in those sort of aspects. And on the subject of the summer, one thing I found is when I first started this, it's in the middle of April, so April and May I quite enjoyed, because I had a lot of the places, I had the place to myself, and I could just like look outside and have wonderful views, and it was peaceful and quiet, and you know, those kinds of things were nice. But as we've got further into the summer, it's coming to high season, you know, in middle of July now, and everything is rammed. You know, there's no such thing as being alone. Actually, where I am now, when I got here, I was like, oh my god, I'm the only motorhome here. Amazing. That lasted about an hour. By the following morning, extra motorhomes were piled up on the edge of the grass because everything was completely full. So you end up with tons and tons of other motorhomes around you. You know, you can hear the person next door farting, and you can see them picking their nose, and you know, you're in such close quarters with the other motorhomes. I don't like that. And also, like the coast, I spent about 2 weeks going up the western coast, and I went to the beach almost every day, and I must admit that was awesome. But I only go to the beach for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then the rest of the time I'm on the motorhome trying to get some work done. But the atmosphere along the coast is, again, it's so busy, and you get a lot of families. You've got babies crying, you've got kids running around, you've got dogs barking, you've got people just making lots of noise, you know. It's very much a campsite feel, but closer, because all the motorhomes are so close together. So that is something I haven't enjoyed, and what it means also is that it's difficult for me to work. I think this is something that I am still struggling with, because, you know, I think when I first came out here, I was so excited to go and do all these things. I was going on to the villages, and of course the Pyrenees. The Pyrenees was amazing. But as time is going on, I'm feeling the pressure more and more to work, because I've got a business to run, I've got a business to build, and I've come across so many difficulties, so many things that block me from working. The biggest one is the electricity, you know, where I don't have free use of electricity. Occasionally I have problems with the Wi-Fi, not very often, to be fair. I haven't had that difficulty much. But then, like, the general environment, when it's really noisy and I have people all around me, I really struggle to concentrate, you know. The kind of work I do, I need quiet, peace and quiet. And when I've got someone 2 feet away, I mean, like yesterday, there was a van over there, and their door was like a side door that was just kind of facing in, and the people were sitting up there with their feet up. I was just looking at their feet. I don't like people's feet, and I'm like, I'm trying to work, and I couldn't help but constantly like, is that feet? Their feet? Is this? I know it's a stupid thing, but you know, when you're in your own house and you've got privacy and stuff, you take it for granted. You take all those sorts of things for granted. So I'm still struggling to work, which is a problem. And so I found that I haven't done much stuff in terms of visiting things recently. I mean, as I said, I was on the coast and I was going to the beach every day. And then I decided to head back to the UK because I want to go and spend some time with a friend for her birthday. And I thought I'll get some work done on the motorhome as well. So I've been heading back north towards Calais. So going forwards, in terms of what my plans are, when I first started doing this, I had this idea that I would be able to spend most of my time out in Europe and then take short trips back to the UK for visits fairly often. And how I was planning to do that originally was, I thought, oh, I'll just leave the motorhome out wherever I am and I'll just hop on a plane and come back. But now that I have looked into that more fully, that is not going to work for a whole bunch of reasons I won't go into in this video, it's not important, but that won't work, which means really the only way I can come back properly is to drive back. And if I'm in the north of France, it's not a huge deal, but the further away I am, the more of a big deal that is. You know, it's hundreds of miles. I mean, for example, if I'm in Spain, if I'm in southern Spain for the winter and I wanted to go back for Christmas, it would be such a long drive. And then you've also got a lot of costs. You've got all your diesel costs, and then you've got the cost of the crossing, which at peak times is expensive. It's costing me a lot more to go back this time than it was to come out here originally, because we're now, you know, high season, everyone's travelling. So I'm not going to be able to do these little trips backwards and forwards as I first thought. So I'm planning, instead of just stopping in the UK for a couple of weeks to visit people, I'm actually going to stay for the rest of the summer in the UK. It's too hot out here. Oh, that's another thing I didn't mention. An ironic problem is that, you know, I'm British, and us Brits, we're used to the cold. We are not used to the heat. And I knew it'd be warmer in the south of France. That's why I came to the south of France, because I was so fed up with the cold in the UK. But I didn't expect such heat. and for so long, and it gets so unbearably hot in the motorhome. You know, you can't cook and trying to work, and the heat just makes you, sometimes the air is like so thick I feel like I can't breathe, and I have to try and just get outside and get some air. And so what I actually ended up doing when I was going along the coast was I had to pay for parking anyway, because you don't really find free places on the coast in high season. So I was seeking out places with electric hookup with shade, so I could park in the shade to get away from the sun, which of course means I've got no power coming into my solar panels, so I had to pay for hookup. It just seems so backwards that I'm in the middle of summer when I've got the most sunshine available to power my solar panels, and yet I couldn't use it because it was too hot. It seems so silly. Oh, that's something I've managed to kind of, I understand the solar panels a lot better now. It's taken a long time to really understand how the readings work, the voltages. So anyway, yes, I'm gonna go back to the UK, and I'm gonna stay for the rest of the summer. Luckily, I have a place to park the motorhome on a family member's driveway, and they're close to my other family members. I can go to my mum's to have like a shower, which that'll be nice. So then I'll come back out again sometime later, and it's going to be for a longer period. I'm not going to be able to do this sort of backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. But my perspective has definitely changed. You know, I've kind of figured out what I like and what I don't like. My favourite things to do haven't been touristy things. A lot of the villages I went to were nice, but quickly forgotten. For me, it's the nature, being in nature, the beaches, the Pyrenees, lakes, all the hiking. You know, that's what I have enjoyed. Whereas visiting some tourist location, you know, no, I don't like any of the big towns. Don't like driving through them. I don't like really visiting them. I'm not a cultural person. You know, I'm not into art or history or architecture or anything like that. You know, give me a lake over a building any day. So I think as I travel, I'm not gonna do the kind of planning that I did before. You know, I planned all sorts of places I wanted to visit in France, and I've just got a fraction of them. I've visited a tiny fraction, and plans don't work out. Things change, and you know, things just do not work out as you plan. And I think I've wasted an incredible amount of time planning stuff which just hasn't worked out. So when I come back again, I think I'll be heading to Spain for the colder months. I'm not going to bother doing any planning and research. I'm just going to wing it, and I'm just going to see what's around. And again, I'm just going to seek out the nice locations, places where I can get in nature, which is what I enjoy, and find nice places where I can sit and do some work. You know, as long as I'm still have a low income, I need to be frugal, which means basically doing lots of work and not spending much money. And that's another thing, nature is free, apart from the coast where you have to pay lots of money to park. But yeah, I mean, I have enjoyed the free things most. You know, when I was in the Pyrenees, hiking there and seeing those amazing, stunning views, that's probably my standout moment, I think, of the past 3 months, is the 2 weeks I spent in the Pyrenees. And of course that didn't cost anything. I did pay for a couple of the airs there, but you know, when you think about 2 weeks in the Pyrenees, it's nothing really. So yeah, that is what I enjoy. So that's what I'll be doing more of as I continue. But I'll see how things go back in the UK. See when I get bored, get itchy feet again and want to get going. But while I'm back in the UK, I don't think I'm going to be doing any videos, because really I'm just going to be visiting friends and family, and I'm going to be working. And obviously I don't want to be filming like my family or anything. So I might possibly, depending on how long I stay, I might take the motorhome and actually go and explore certain places in the UK. So if I do that, I'll probably do some videos. But otherwise I'm probably not going to be shooting much now for a while. So yeah, this is me after 3 months. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to going home and seeing everyone again. Can't think of anything else to say this time.